Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. Today we're going to take a close look at CarPro Ultra Cut. 500 milliliters for around $31 or $32. And it would be boring to take a look at it by itself, so we'll put it up against something we may be familiar with. That's the Sonax Ultimate Cut. And that has a very, very aggressive bite to it. So let's put them side by side on a panel. I'm going to grab my masking tape and we'll mask off a section, and then within that we will divide it into 4 or 5 sections, which I will use different grit sandpaper. We'll mark up the area. We'll run both of these compounds through it with the same polisher and pad and technique, and we'll see how they compare with each other. The Ultra Cut is one of their heaviest cut compounds in CarPro's lines. It's made for extreme fast cutting action, extreme low dust. It's also suitable for all paint finishes. You can use it with the rotary or dual action polisher, and claims to be able to remove 1200 grit and higher sand marks. We shall see. The abrasives within the formula are quickly diminishing abrasives, starting with the sections closest to you on camera: 3000 grit, then 2500, then 2000 grit, then 1500, and then 800 grit. So the 800 grit is well beyond what they claim the product can do when removing imperfections and defects, but we still love to look and see what improvements the fluid can make in these areas. We're going to use the same polisher, the 3-inch polisher we used in the other cutting compound tests and comparisons. I don't have the same pad that we used to use. That one disintegrated, so we will just switch over to a 50-50 pad, which is similar. 3 pea-sized drops onto the pad. We're going to set the polisher speed between the 3rd and the 4th speed setting. We're going to use correction speed to go through those sand marks, 1 trip up, 1 trip back, with pressure down equal to a firm handshake, if that makes sense. We're going to try and do the exact same process for both trips back and forth, one with the Ultra Cut and one with the Ultimate Cut from Sonax. And you can see here, right smack dab between the 3rd and the 4th speed setting, my favorite speed setting for most polishers. Here are a few things we're going to be looking for. Cycle time, how long we can work the product without it breaking down and drying out and starting to dust. The dust factor itself, do these products dust at all? The cut factor, the finish factor, that's important as well. Yeah, we know they can cut, that's what they're designed for, but how well do they diminish, these abrasives diminish and finish down with the type of pad we're using here today? A lot of these products are pad dependent, so results will vary with the pad you choose and depending on the surface you're working on, hard, medium, or soft clear coat. Besides the testing here, I've worked exclusively with the product on real-world situations. When it comes to dusting, none whatsoever, so that'll get a 10 out of 10. When it comes to the cycle time, you can work it for a quite long period of time, 8 out of 10. Wipe off is rather easy. That's going to get another 8 out of 10. And the product is a user-friendly product in a shop setting, or if you're mobile out in direct sunlight and extreme heat. Here is a quick initial look at the cut after running through all the sections. Don't worry, we're going to get out the swirl finder and go through each section in great detail. But before we do, just to make sure there's no fillers, we're going to use a panel prep first. Okay, needless to say, and as you can imagine, it breezed through the 3000 grit, the 2500 grit, and even the 2000 grit. Now, with an aggressive compound such as this, you will need a second step. As you can see, it's hazy. It needs to be finished down. But what we're looking for are the sand marks that are going south to north, away from us. And you can see the trip left to right with the pad. But so far, we're even in the 1500 grit section here. You can see it has removed all of the sand marks. That is fantastic. Now, into the territory which you won't see claims, 800 grit, you can see there are sand marks left behind, but a huge improvement. Very, very impressive. So when it comes to cut, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and that's not just this test here. That's also real-world situations, which I've had a chance to work with it. Now, what we start with is just a crazy low 4 gloss units in that section. You can see the other section, and down below, I'll take a measurement of the paint before we even put the sand marks down. And now that we've done the correction, it jumps from a 5 in just one pattern or path down through and back all the way up to 95.5. So let's put that down. When it comes to gloss and finish, it's only going to get a 5 out of 10, and that's actually fantastic for a cutting compound because they don't finish down. They're not going to get a high score, but this will be one of the higher scores out of a lot of the cutting compounds. Again, very impressive. Pad is now caked with the Ultra Cut, so let's clean it out thoroughly. We have a nice clean pad, and now we can take another trip down through that section with the Sonax Ultimate Cut. This is their version of an aggressive correction fluid. So we'll do the same thing, 3 pea-size drops. We're going to have the speed setting exactly the same, pressure the same, arm speed or correction speed will be the same, the path will be the same, and we'll be able to compare the two. Sonax has also been out for quite some time, and having done many corrections with it, I can tell you dusting is low. If you go beyond its cycle time, or if you're outside in extreme warmth and heat, you will get a little bit of dusting, and that cuts down on the cycle time as well. It's a little bit harder to wipe off than the Ultra Cut, but both are very good, very effective. And with this one, we're going to use panel prep as well to make sure there's no fillers within the formula that can disguise cutting for filling properties. We'll clean it up. I'll bring you guys in closer. We'll use the swirl finder and we'll compare the two sections. And as you can imagine, the first 2 or 3 sections, it's going to breeze right through. Yes, hazy because of the aggressive liquid and the pad, but you would be able to see the sand marks moving away from us in the section. And in the 1500 grit, both were successful. 800 grit, I can actually tell, I don't know what's coming through on the camera, but the Ultra Cut from CarPro did a better job in the 800 grit section than the Ultimate Cut. Let me know what you see down in the comment section. That said, Sonax 3D, one of 2 that are on the podium in our cutting compound series that we had going. As we take some gloss measurements when it comes to finish in this section as well, they're going to be very, very similar. CarPro just slightly edging them out. That's something you wouldn't be able to see with the naked eye, but there are the numbers nonetheless. So it's very impressive to see the Ultra Cut hang in there with those top compounds, and I'm very impressed. I like it, I use it, and I will give the product an 8 out of 10 overall. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Put them down in the comments section, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you.